Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the 2017 film Baywatch, starring The Rock. Dwayne Johnson as the Mitch Buchanan character that David Hasselhoff played in a television show. Now, of course, some time ago, I had reviewed the Baywatch television series, plus the spin-off Baywatch Nights. Check those videos out if you haven't seen them. And of course, several years after the original Baywatch show, plus the spin-off Baywatch Hawaii was taken off the air in about like 2001, 2002, somewhere there. So about 15 years later, they decided to make a movie on Baywatch. Now, of course, the problem is that not only is the movie terrible, which we're going to get into more later in a minute, but most major motion pictures have been based on a popular television show. 9 times out of 10, the movie is horrible, or it's either god awful bad or a parody of the television show. And that's happened with the Baywatch movies. They made a parody out of the television show. At least the first movie was. You had Bewitched, a movie based on the television 1960s show Bewitched, which was also awful. You even have a couple of live action movies based on the 1960s cartoon The Flintstones, which was also a terrible movie, and unfortunately it was the last movie that Elizabeth Taylor made. This had to be in that movie, and it was god awful bad. You also had the movie, the Scooby-Doo movie, live action films, which was also terrible. So they had Hollywood had continuous run of television shows, or I should say major motion pictures that have been based on a television show. Most of the time it's been like a parody of the television show, and they poke fun of things that people now make fun of these shows for, and that's what they did with Baywatch. And the movie was like just over 2 hours long, and they poke fun of everything that was in the television show, and which is true. I mean, I'm not saying that they had good points on spoofing the show, but you've seen movie spoofs so many times. I could just run over some of them that you just don't want to see another one. You just want to see a straight film based on a television show without making it. They don't have to make it a parody, but unfortunately they did. Because this movie, of course, is about the Baywatch lifeguard team that's in LA, and it stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, in the David Hasselhoff role, and of course I haven't mentioned it yet, but there are 2 cameos from this film of only 2 of the cast members. One of David Hasselhoff, and at the end of the movie, you see Pam Anderson at the end of the movie. And unfortunately, those are the only 2 cast members today. If you think of Baywatch today, at least the television show, you only think of those 2 actors in the movie or in the television show. You don't think of anyone else who was ever in that television show, and that's quite sad. You forgot about Nicole Edgar was on the show for a couple of years. Alexander Paul was on for a few years. You had Erica Eleniak, who was the original bombshell on Baywatch. You don't have a cameo by her, or somebody playing that part, Shawnee, or her boyfriend on the show. Forgot who it was, or I know the actor, but I'm blanking on his name here. But I also had Parker Stevenson was playing the original character in that show. You had Tracy Bingham, who was the only black actress who ever appeared on the show. You had Janet Lee Lowen's character on there. You had David Chokichi, Cody. You had him on the show. You had forgot the guy was also in the first Sharknado movie. Damn, cut that. I'm thinking, so many actors who were on the show for more than one season, their characters are not on the show at all. The only characters are the ones that people remember from that show. Yeah, Summer Quinn. Of course, you had Mitch Buchanan played by The Rock. You had you have Summer Quinn who's on in the movie. You had C.J. Parker. You had Stephanie Holden, which we're going to get into in a second, because they changed her character in this movie, which is one of my pet peeves. You also have Matt Brody, and that's it. There's only characters from the original who were in the television show that was put into the movie. That's it. Any other characters that was in there, like Shawnee, or Eddie, if we're gonna the boyfriend Eddie, he's not in this. His character's not in this movie, and that's it. You did have Garner, the cop, the black cop, which I'm going to get into that as I go and discuss the show, or discuss the movie, I should say. Now, as I just mentioned, that Stephanie Holden's character, Caroline Holden was also not in this movie either. It was played by Yasmin Bleeth in the television show. But Stephanie Holden's character completely, totally changed that character. Of course, we know that Stephanie Holden, I want to say Rebecca Holden, Stephanie Holden was a white, single, she wasn't even a mother in this movie, on the television show. Here, in the movie, they made her black, they transferred her from a white woman to a black woman, and who has 2 young kids, a single mother, which wasn't in the original television show. And when you think, why is they didn't even pay attention to the original show? Because they said, because Baywatch is too white, so we had to have a black character. That's why in the original television show they had Tracy Bingham on the show, because the PC idiots, but it's worse now than it was back then. And so they were complaining that Baywatch didn't have any black characters in Baywatch, so they had added Tracy Bingham, and she practically didn't really do anything, except maybe pose in Playboy later on. In real life, she posed in Playboy, but that's it. I mean, she practically didn't do anything. So they said, let's make one of the major characters black, and it made Summer Quinn into a brunette instead of the cute little perky blonde, which was Nicole Eggert in the original television show. So they changed a lot of the background stuff with a lot of the characters. I know it went to like almost 8 minutes on this thing, but it's not my pet peeves. Now, the movie itself, Mitch Buchanan, who was played by The Rock, was forced to hire Matt Brody by Captain Thorpe, and there's another character they brought in from the television show, like a younger character, because Captain Thorpe in the original television show was a much older guy. Anyway, he was forced to put in Matt Brody, and Matt Brody also changed his background for the show. I mean, for the movie. He was supposed to be like this 2-time gold medal winning swimming champ in the Olympics. They hire him, but he has like some drug alcohol problems. So his probation was supposed to be working on Baywatch. So, but Mitch was not going to make it easy on him, and keeps calling him all these stupid idiotic nicknames and treating him like shit. I mean, Dwayne Johnson put a lot more of his rock persona, his wrestling persona, into this character, which is completely wrong, because we all know Dwayne Johnson was a wrestler for years and years and years before he went to making movies, but to put The Rock, his personality as Dwayne was The Rock character in the WWF, and in this character, it just doesn't work. And I know he was trying his best to make it work, but it was not working, folks. It was just not working. It seemed forced. It seemed too much of pick. It was like too much picking on the guy. Giving like stupid nicknames like Trump does to, his Republican opponents. That giving him stupid nicknames all the time, and that's what Mitch was doing here. Was giving Matt Brody a lot of nicknames. And now he was doing tryouts, and so he had Summer Quinn Matt Brody and this fat guy. The guy was fatter than I am. As a tryout, and he was trying out for like his third time because he had the hots for CJ. So CJ was already on the team. You had Stephanie Holden there, and you had Garner Ellerby, the cop, who was keep making fun of Mitch because all he is a cop. And now, of course, on the television show, Garner was always like a best buddy, a best friend of Mitch on the television show. And of course, also on the Baywatch Nights spinoff. Here, he was treating Mitch and the Baywatch team as a bunch of. He was treating like crap. He was all a bunch of stupid lifeguards with like red swimsuits. And of course, in the opening sequence of the film, you had a spoof of the famous theme song of Baywatch, which of course we could all hear on YouTube here. Various versions of the. Well, it's the same song, but it's different versions. One just said with Baywatch on. Suddenly you see the cast members introduced during the song. So it's not. It's different versions, but it's the same song with the full song. Or sometimes you see it with the cast mentioned in the video. So those videos I kind of like. It reminds me to see the cast in it. Anyway, he makes fun of Mitch. So, oh, why are you always here? So Mitch says, well, because I'm always here. And because that's the title of the song. I'm always here. That's the title. That's the actual title of the Baywatch theme song. You see during opening credits of the old television show. So they make fun of that. And they also make fun of the fact that C.J. Parker's character, I forgot the actress who played the part, but she was good. But she wasn't an airhead. Neither any of the characters were a bunch of airheads, except for maybe the one who played Matt Brody, because he was the a-hole of this movie. Along with Mitch, he was a total jerk in the whole movie. I mean, I like The Rock as a person, but as a playing Mitch Buchanan, he was a total a-hole. And of course, also in the movie, I should mention that they used the D word a lot. There was, I have to edit, so any kids watching this series, I have to apologize for saying this. They used the word dick a lot in this movie, which is completely over the top. And I know you could curse in movies so easily today, but they use the word dick a lot, and they said the word shit a lot in this movie. Oh shit! Oh shit! I got caught. Oh shit! You think that constantly through the whole. Use the word shit a lot in this whole movie. I mean, they said it once, they said it twice. It's like almost every other sentence. Somebody says shit. In the movie, and that was irritating. Then you had well, the main plot had to do with this beach club owner who was played by the actress who was in the Quantico television show. She played the villain in this thing, and she wanted to expand her club so she could own the whole bay and get rid of the stupid Baywatch lifeguards so she could own the whole beach pretty much, at least this whole section of the beach. And she was using it, and she was smuggling in drugs with earning money, and so she could pay off the local politicians. And whatever politicians didn't go for what she wanted, she would have them bumped off. So she was the villain, and the Baywatch and Mitch and the team and the Baywatch team was telling Garner, hey, look, there's some funny business going on here, and trying to tell him, or trying to prove to him what's going on. And Garner didn't want to have anything to do with, oh, you're not cops. You're a bunch of stupid lifeguards. I don't want you sticking up. I can do it myself. And meanwhile, the Baywatch, Mitch and the team went in, busted up the whole thing, and for a while, Mitch got fired for interfering because his boss, Captain Thorpe, was in cahoots with the club owner, which you eventually find out at the end of this film. So you have that going on, and while that was happening, Mitch was working at a Sprint phone store, and behind them you see David Hasselhoff, the real Mitch Buchanan, and for a minute you hear the actual Baywatch theme song, the intro music to the theme song, and then they completely stop doing it, and then you hear a scratch the needle on the record sound effect, and I mean it was dumb. And I should also mention earlier, I know I'm jumping around here, but I should also mention the other thing that made a parody of was when CJ runs in slow motion. They make fun of the slow motion bit from the television show. It says, and Summer and Stephanie Horner always commenting, how come CJ always seems to be running in slow motion? I mean, they make fun of the slow motion thing during rescues, from Baywatch, when everybody's running on the beach in slow motion. They make fun of that. They make fun of the theme song, and they also make fun of the end of the movie, as you want to get into in a second. Of course, what happens is, of course, they did bust up the drug ring. The one from the Chronicle television show, she ends up getting arrested. She Captain Thorpe gets arrested in the end of the movie, and one of the club owner's henchmen also gets arrested. And Garner had to reluctantly thank Mitch and the Baywatch team for busting up this thing. And even though, sorry, something else fell there. Sorry about the. He apologizes to Mitch that the thing, thanked him for busting up the drug ring, and apologizing for treating him like crap for the whole movie. And then, of course, Mitch gets his job back. And then at the end of the movie, we're going to say the new captain of Baywatch, which happens to be C.J. Parker, the real C.J. Parker, Pam Anderson, and they used her character's real name on the show instead of the initial C.J. And Carol Jean, or whatever the actual name was, and you see her walking in slow motion. And the other characters say, "Hey, what's with the deal with the slow motion crap?" And then they did a parody of all the Baywatch lifeguards running down the beach, and there was one particular lifeguard who was in the training, who was, like I mentioned earlier, was fatter than I am. Actually made the team. He was in I forgot what was in, but he had the heart for CJ, the CJ Parker from the movie, and ends up getting the heart for the real CJ Parker, Pam Anderson's character, and and also there's a spoof of them running on the beach as Matt Brody collides with this fat lifeguard, and they did a spoof parody over that, and I should also mention that the fat lifeguard, and this is within the first 5 minutes. He was not a lifeguard yet, but he signed up to try out. He gets so horny for CJ that he gets his manhood stuck in a bench at the beach. So he falls over, and his manhood is stuck in the bench, the spaces in the bench. And they had to get him out, and CJ yanks on his manhood to get him out. I mean, it's like, this is what they put into the movie within the first 5 minutes of the movie, or first 5-10 minutes of the film. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was repulsive. It was a waste of time. I mean, if you want to watch Baywatch, watch the original television show. And I think there are still a few episodes still on YouTube, including one of the better ones, Submersion, which is one of the better episodes of that series, of the original show. Just stick to that, and the hell with everything, and the hell with the movie, because it's god awful bad. I'm surprised he even got a 17 review from a review of 17% from Rotten Tomatoes. You should get like a minus 17 review for the movie, because it's that bad. Just watch the original television show. I happen to be a fan of the original show Baywatch, and so I'll stick with that and forget the god awful, cannot suck enough movie. So that's my review of the movie Baywatch. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video on your Facebook pages, and check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, so WDY and C.com. It's a homepage to Rally Reviewer. First thing more, and please check out all his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.